Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video for you guys on The Flash Season 5, as well as some of the other Arrow, other DC TV shows on the CW, but mainly The Flash and maybe some Arrow as well. But they released an extended trailer from the one that we got yesterday, and there's even more new footage, which is just insane. So, yeah, let's just watch that trailer right now.
There are people out there with powers.
Trying to unite a divided world is overwhelming.
Your optimism will save us.
Going to old school today, Flash? It's a little tighter than I remember.
I
have to fight back.
I'm gonna make this city breathe.
When I come back, we ripping these bags apart.
Let's dance.
Come on, y'all!
You're afraid to make waves? Make them anyway.
Everything I do is for my family.
You, my friends, fixed history.
You're part of something greater.
Black Lightning will always fight for justice.
You cannot extinguish a child of God!
You should have killed me.
So really, I think the reveals in this trailer are cooler than the ones we got in yesterday's trailer, which you'd expect in an extended promo. But it's not just because they're newer. I actually think compared to the shots that we got in this trailer, compared to the ones in that smaller one, they're just better. And I understand why maybe they saved them for like the official trailer where they, put this on the CW. Now, I am actually surprised they released this less than 24 hours after the one that appeared on TV, because in past years, when they have released like an extended version of the ones that appear on TV, like out of the season, so not when the shows are actually on, they release them on the weekend, which is, I know it's actually a really strange time to release them. It's actually a bad time to release them. This is actually a good time to release them because people were talking about that shorter trailer, so it makes sense to release, an extended version of that exact same trailer when people are talking and it's basically trending. But of course, we are going to go over the new points. We won't go over the old points unless they're relevant to what we're talking about in this video. But of course, do be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what you think of this trailer and what we go over in this video. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and just are hyped for The Flash and all the other shows in general, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on the video just to show your support. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So, Flash first. Let's just jump straight into the Scarlet Speedster. And actually, the first shot from The Flash has nothing to do with, well, Barry Allen. It has something to do with the villain for this season. That is when we get the first look, I guess if you want to call it. I'll probably put that in the title because why not? Our first proper look at Cicada, which I'm really liking what we see here. So here we see his lightning bolt dagger. Now, the thing with this is that it actually sort of does look different than what we saw in the one from the Comic-Con trailer. I don't know if that's just me, but it looks like it is different. It looks like it's more ragged, more rough. It's just not as clean as the other one looked. And the other one didn't look like, like it's been perfectly designed from like the cleanest metal in the world. It just looked more straighter and stuff like that. While this one looks more ragged, looks more either, as if he's got the dagger from like a piece of like destroyed metal, or it came like that or something like that. It just looks a bit rough, and I actually like the fact that it's rough. Now, we can tell that this is Cicada basically because he's wearing like a hood, like a cloak or something. I did have a feeling, like I did a live stream before when this trailer basically came out, and I said that it could have been one of Cicada's followers, but this is, very, very, very likely just from episode 1. Like all the footage we see in this trailer are from the first episodes of each of the respective shows' seasons. So this would most likely just be David Hirsch or Cicada who's holding this lightning bolt dagger. And basically the fact that he is wearing a hood, like we saw in the Comic-Con footage, you have to think this is him. I don't know if he's wearing gloves. I think he is wearing some sort of glove. Don't know what's around his wrist, sorry. I don't know if that's just his cloak or not, or if it is some sort of like bracelet or gauntlet or something. Not too sure. But overall, I am looking forward to Cicada. People have been complaining about, it should be a speedster villain, but I have explained in a couple of videos on my own that if it was a speedster villain this season, it would have been a bit of a waste because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this season with Nora, and we have Barry and his own stuff as we usually do. Then we also have Caitlin and her storyline. I'm sure there's going to be some other subplots with like Ralph and Iris as well. There wouldn't have been enough time to really have a speedster villain, in my opinion, or like the story they would probably want to do with a speedster villain. So having Cicada there as the main villain, in my opinion, is the right choice. And I feel that he was just going to, he's going to serve the season well for what is also going on with it. So, I'm fine with him being the villain, and I think he can offer some pretty cool and also devastating moments at the same time. Now, the theory around Cicada is that he's just big in the future, which I think is the case, but Nora coming back maybe, maybe not created him, but definitely helped him get bigger in the future in regards to his power and stuff like that, and maybe his following. We don't know if they're going to do the cult of Cicada like it is in the comics. We'll have to wait and see. The Savitar had a cult in the comics and they attempted that on the show and they failed miserably. So maybe they can get it right the second time, or maybe they'll try and avoid it because they failed the first time. Who knows what they're going to do. But I'm liking the look of the dagger. I'm excited to see just a full-on proper look at Cicada. Eventually, I'm sure we'll get that in the first episode. But I wonder who he's killing here. You'd have to think if he's pulling at the dagger, he's going to be killing someone. So I'm excited and I don't know, is excited a bad word to use? I'm intrigued to see who Cicada chooses as one of his first, or at least the first victim that we see. I'm just excited to see how all of that goes. Here we go. Here's the next thing to talk about in the trailer, and that is actually another look at Barry's new suit, a better look, more brighter. Obviously, it's in Star Labs. You would have to think this is definitely the first time that Barry puts on the suit, just because he looks like he's in like a wonderment or like amazement, or he's just astonished by what he's saying on himself. He's like, oh my god, this suit's really cool. It actually fits better than the other ones. Now, there is some issues with it. Now, it's basically the same issue that I pointed out in my, shorter promo video that I did yesterday, and that's the gap in the neck. Hopefully that gets fixed as soon as possible. The rest of the suit I'm fine with. The only other thing that I'm a bit about is the things on like the wrist. They seem to like not connect. It's really weird. Like, I'll show you a shot. It seems like they're like almost floating, as if like they're only connected in a handful of parts or a couple of parts of the suit, and then like it's hanging off the rest of it. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Or maybe it's just like the blur of the shot or something makes it look weird. Because in all the other shots, you couldn't really see that. The neck was always a bit of an issue in some of the other shots, but never the arms. So that might just be a weird effect by the camera that makes it look like they're coming off the suit and not connecting properly. But yeah, the biggest issue with the suit, it's like the only issue with the suit in my opinion. Some people say the no chin strap. I think it's just because we're so used to Barry having the chin strap. I think if he had that from season 1, no one would be going, oh, he should have a chin strap like it is in some of the comics. Like, I think it's fine without the chin strap. I think it's just a bit jarring. We're gonna have to get used to it. I think it's just the neck, how it bubbles and sort of creases over and just has a gap there. It just doesn't look good. It just looks really lazy and almost looks like, some people were saying it looks sort of cosplay, and that's like a defect you'd have in like a cosplay suit. So hopefully, what Grant Gustin was referring to when he said there was going to be some minor changes to the suit, hopefully the neck is one of them, because I think it's so obvious. Like, if we can see it in the trailers, then surely they can see it on set and go, okay, maybe that doesn't look too good. So I'd have to say that's the change that they're probably going to be fixing up. Hopefully, if it's not, then, well, we might have some issues going forward. But the main reason that it does crease is because there is no chin strap. And because the other ones could have creased before in the past, it's just that the chin strap would cover that, that gap up, because we wouldn't be seeing, because the chin strap would be there. So that's probably just one of the negatives, I guess, from moving on from the chin strap, is that you got to deal with some other stuff that wasn't there before. So we'll have to wait and see in episodes, probably 3 or 4, if that chin strap issue is gone. Oh, maybe even episode 2. Who knows when they're going to fix it up. But that bubble, that neck issue just has to be fixed up, because I just think it's so noticeable and just not a good look. But that's it for Flash stuff. There's only a couple of Flash shots in this new trailer that were new. But I guess it's because they were big looks. It's Cicada and then Barry in his Flash suit. So I guess they're pretty big. So now let's actually move on to some Arrow stuff. So yesterday in that shorter promo video, I was wondering if Oliver was ever going to be seeing Felicity when he was in prison, because from interviews and stuff like that, it said they're almost disconnected, there was no contact with anyone from the outside world, and it just seemed like Diggle might have been the only one that Oliver was getting in contact with, because Diggle works for Argus, and there'd be some loophole where Diggle would be able to talk to any prisoner he wants, and he chooses Oliver because, well, Oliver is his mate. But we do see Felicity here talking to Oliver, and Felicity is beaten up. She's got a massive cut on her forehead, above her eyebrow. As I said in my, trailer breakdown, almost looking like she's on some heroin or something like that. It looks like Felicity is in a bad place, but as we can see here, this is the same shot, or not the same shot, but it's the same Felicity with the pink hair, with no cuts, and she's being attacked in her apartment. So you have to think that is the reason she's all cut up and stuff like that. I think this person in her apartment is Richard Dragon, or Ricardo Diaz, might I say, because in the Comic-Con trailer, you see him in a room that sort of looks like that, and he's wearing a black suit, similar to the person that Felicity's chucking coffee at, or whatever it was, or hot water, whatever it might be. So obviously Felicity is in danger, and Oliver would probably be freaking out in prison if he knows that Ricardo Diaz is out in the open trying to get Felicity. Now, I thought Felicity would be in witness protection, which she could still be. Like, she's in an apartment, she's changed her hair. We know that she's being like a waitress and stuff like that. So maybe Ricardo Diaz was just able to track her down. So it's going to be interesting to see what the FBI does about this, and what Oliver does within prison to try and stop it, whether he tries to break out or something like that. I'm interested. I've heard a couple of theories that maybe the FBI releases Oliver so he can be the Green Arrow and take down Ricardo Diaz, so he doesn't go after people. But that's like the FBI just being lazy. So I'm still under like the, not the opinion, just the want and the need that I want to see Oliver break out of prison, like work with some of the prisoners and break out. I think it's a better story than like Oliver being lamely let out of jail just, you know, through the system. I think that's a bit lame. I'd rather see him break out. Sure, he's a fugitive after that, but it just seems cooler to me. But it's actually in this shot where we find out what Renee's been doing. I know some people might not care, but we've got to cover it, what Renee's been doing, because we were wondering, okay, what's Renee doing after like being a vigilante? Because we know Dinah's gone back to being a cop. Who knows what Curtis is doing? Felicity's in witness protection. Diggle's at Argus. What's Renee doing? Because it looked like he was being like undercover or something in that Comic-Con trailer. But as you can see here, it seems that he's teaching like either self-defense classes or just boxing classes or something. I'd say self-defense. That's my guess, but it looks like it's with youths of the street. So maybe he works like at the YMCA. I don't know, something like that. So it's funny that like his name's Wild Dog, like that's the persona he takes up. But who else did like boxing, like Wildcat in like season 3? So I think that's funny how you have both Wild Dog and Wildcat basically serving the same purpose. But we finally know what Renee's doing, so maybe him doing this might stop him, or like be like one of those like things that he has to like. One of the things that makes him stop going back to being a vigilante, but something might force him to go back into that Wild Dog persona eventually throughout the season, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, this is something that was in that shorter promo yesterday, but I didn't mention it, just like skipped my mind, but that is Oliver just whacking someone in the head with a big weight, and you can see that the cops in the background are just letting him do that. Like, they're allowing this fight to go on, so I wonder who the hell he is fighting. I'm intrigued, very intrigued. Oliver's already beaten up in this shot. He's already got scars and cuts above his head and stuff, so he's already been in like a couple of fights, so I wonder who he's taking on. The person he's taking on seems to be very much taller than him. You can see Oliver's looking up, so I wonder if it's like Brick. I think Brick's actually smaller, so maybe this could be that blockbuster type character that they had the sort of character description come out for. Maybe he's fighting him. But if someone's getting hit over in the head with a weight, they should be knocked out. So if Oliver doesn't do any damage with that, then there's some sort of absolute monstrous freak, and Oliver might be in some trouble here. So I'm looking forward to this scene. They've said some of the prison scenes are just brutal, and I cannot wait to see them. Like, in regards to just a brutality factor, Arrow has sort of lacked that in previous seasons. Like, season 1 was just like pure brutalness or pure brutality, and it's probably the best the show's ever been in regards to that. So I'm excited to see where they can step up in season 7 just in regards to that brutal factor. But that's about it in regards to this trailer. As I said, it's an extended trailer, so a lot of the stuff is in that promo from yesterday, and this just basically has like a couple more scenes and adds on to it, and maybe get some context or some other stuff like Felicity and, you know, all that stuff that we went over in regards to the Arrow stuff. So yeah, that's basically all to talk about. If you did enjoy the video, guys, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on this extended promo. What do you think of those new shots we went over, like Cicada, the better look at the Flash suit, Felicity all like beaten up, and even Oliver just like tearing stuff up? What do you think? Just let me know in the comments, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.